What else do you want to talk about?
You asked me to kind of come up with at least a topic, and I do have a topic that's been something that I don't really have a good handle on. So I'm hoping you can give me some advice on this, or we can work through it. But it's nothing bad. It's just I think there's some religious answers to this. There's some science answers to this. So the question is, so we're talking about, my question is about the day you die. Is that date, that particular time, is that set in stone, or is it a sliding scale on your behavior as a human being? And I don't know, my religion thing was limited. I came to it late in the game. Do we really, I just want to know the ultimate answer to that question. Is it set no matter what? 5 years from now, it's 10 years from now, it's like Jessica, you're 2 months old. What is it? What is your day? And is that day a sliding scale? Can you move that day? Can you push it forward? Can you draw it back? And all kinds of things are confusing me. Car accidents, young kids that are ill, Keith Richards is really the thing that drives me. Really, I'm fascinated with him. And I don't not like him. Every time like, how is that guy? Clearly, the sliding scale doesn't work for him. Although he has quit smoking apparently in the last 6 months or something like that, which that's fucking that's random to me. I don't know what the fuck that's all about.
He's been off heroin for a while, and he's been on whatever else they give him to balance out his his heroin addict.
I mean, what's your gut instinct on that? Do you think there's a fate? It's a day, whether it's an accident or?
I think everybody's book is written, and I think that whatever it is that your lifespan has, I don't think that I used to think a long time ago, and it was probably a little ignorant to think it, and I didn't have any basis of it, but I used to think that doing good works was a big part of the karma that you received and how you, and I don't think any of that's true anymore. I think it's all, I think karma is inside of you. And I think the way you feel good or bad about yourself is how happy or unhappy that you are in your life. And I don't think you can do anything to elongate your life. I don't think, again, one of the simple answers to that is bad things happen to good people,
Yeah.
I mean, it does. And it's not, I just don't think there's any, I won't say evidence, because there's not evidence to a lot of shit, but I just don't see that there are good people that live longer than people who aren't so good,
Right. For sure.
And so there's nothing to nudge me in that way that I would think that anything you do, I mean, obviously if you live dangerously, you're going to put yourself in positions to have things happen to you, bad things happen to you.
That's the problem though. That's the problem, because now you have to believe that God help you make those decisions. Or should we say God, or what should we say? Like whatever the plan is for you to die at 20. Yeah. So what's the plan? Your plan is to die when you're 28 years old, the day after your birthday. And so and if it's an accident, is that part of the plan? Were you driven? Did they remove the fear? Did they remove the common sense, or it's a way deeper question. I've been kicking it around a lot.
It's a good thing you came with something easy for us to follow today.
Right. Like, so, so I have this girl that I'm really good friends with at Villa Park. She was a softball coach. She's a softball coach I took over for. Fantastic gal. She's Biola, so she's very Christian. And we had this conversation because they told us that we were being hybrid, and we were going back, and everybody's just like, it's going to really mess up the AP kids. The AP kids are going to be screwed. So there's like a fall on this. Like, there's collateral damage. So she teaches AP. So I started talking to her about it, and she's bummed, and she's had a terribly bad 2020. And she made a comment about 2020, and I was like, yeah, no, it's not going to change very much January 1. Like, please dig in, let's get the marathon shoes on. And she's lost 2 people in her life within a month, and she just is like spinning. And but she's very Christian. And I asked her that question. I said, do you think that there's a fate, or is there a sliding scale? And she says, I think that there's a fate. Very, very quickly, like that. And then I said, well, then why do you eat vegetables? That's exactly what I told her. And she fucking turned her head like a dog, like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, if you're going to die regardless, why put this effort to extend? Theoretically, we're trying to extend by eating well and exercising and doing good deeds and going to church and, not abusing ourselves and what have you, trying to live a clean life, a good life. Why are you doing that if you're just going to die? And she was good. I mean, she staggered a little bit, and she spoke about her body is a gift from God, and she glorifies God from her body and her vessel, and very, very cool shit. Like, that wasn't the first thing that she thought about, though. And I wasn't trying to be a devil's advocate. I wasn't trying to like shake her, because I would never do that. She's amazing, but I just was like, because I'm on a very strict diet right now, and it's no fun. I'm eating way too much green shit, and it's fucking awful. And I'm walking and I'm sore. It's like I'm like a giant slug, and it's like, man, really?
But isn't there something in there somewhere that gives you some satisfaction and a peaceful feeling, or a feeling like you're taking steps to feel good? I mean, is it feel bad? I mean, I'm not sure.
Well, I do have some pain. I have that ankle issue, but notwithstanding, it's the weight, right? My life would
I'm not talking about the physical pain, though. I'm talking about whether or not there's a piece of spirit involved in I'm doing something to contribute to my health. I mean, the thing is if I don't know when I'm going to die, I'm not going to live a miserable, drunk, stoned, freaking eat like a pig life, because I'm going to feel like shit. I mean, it seems defeatist. It seems like the time I have here is precious, and I don't know when I'm going to go. So I might as well take good care of myself, or take enough care of myself to feel good. And I feel like I have some sort of control over it. Yeah. I don't know, whether or not that's enough for a lot of people,
Well, there's, I mean, the idea that we can choose is very important. The second part of this, I mean, it seems like a pretty easy question, and we're doing a good job right now. And this gal did a great job, and I love her. She's amazing. But then I was thinking, what if we get to the pearly gates, and the guy in St. Peter's, is it St. Peter? St. Peter at the gates?
Yes, sir.
Again, I don't know I'm a little fuzzy on some of that. What if we get to St. Peter and he's like, dude.
Except on Wednesdays.
Except on
it's St. Judas Iscariot. He gets the Wednesdays.
Really? Are you fucking with me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm screwing with you.
Every asshole that dies on all assholes die on Wednesday.
Well, no, they sit around in purgatory till Wednesday. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I have this thing in the back of my mind about how, and I'm a history teacher, how these, the Roman Empire sort of fell into this hedonistic concept, and there was hedonistic gods, and the Greeks, sort of, and we equate the falling of that civilization to those times. That was the beginning of the Nero and all this, playing the fiddle, and, the sex and the gluttony and the food, all the 7 deadly sins. What if, because I'm not sure if man-made religion is accurate in all ways. So what if, and I believe that religion is a construct to control the masses. I believe that's the way it started, for sure. It's certainly not working very well now, it is to some people. But what if that human construct is literally 180 degrees wrong? What if we are supposed to rejoice? What if we were supposed to celebrate? What if we were supposed to dance? What if we were supposed to sing unto the Lord? What if we were supposed to live as fucking hard as we can? What if the artists have it right? Right? The artists that we dismiss as being lightweight intellect, lightweight people, what if they have it right? What if Jim Morrison had it right? You know, like, what if St. Peter goes, why weren't you like Jim Morrison? You're like, what do you mean? He died when he was 27. I go, yeah, but the last 30 years of your fucking life were trash. Your quality of life sucked. You couldn't have sex anymore. You had the fucking diseases. You had pain. You had heart attacks. We tried to get you up here, right? Your buddy, the doctor, saved you from coming to heaven. What? The body isn't, you're wore out. Your knees are gone. Your hips are gone. Your back is fused. Why did you fucking extend it? You're supposed to burn out. You're supposed to be a shooting star. That's why we send shooting stars up once in a while, so that we can remind you, what if, and those are smart people in Rome, and those are smart people in Greece. And what if they had it right, and that's the way it was supposed to be? And what if what we're trying to do, trying to be, like in my case, trying to be 96? What if my mom wants to be 100? You know, like, that's like, she has this goal, you know. I'm like, well, what if it's not meant to be that way? And what if you can take back all the half-assing of your life and all the wasted time doing meaningless shit that you wouldn't have to do if you knew you were going to die when you're 30 or 27 or whatever? You know, you want to talk about the 27 club. Like, what if the fucking society is what screwed us up in this sort of human dash to control the masses like this? What if those hippies and the people that are on ashrams and that have, what if they're right? You know, what if we're not, us that go to work, like me, I go to work, I put on the fucking collar, I put the shoes on, I go to work, I don't want to be there. It's wrong to me on so many levels. I feel my life's in danger. Why am I doing that? Well, I got stuff and I got bills, and, you know, I built that fucking jail, you know, all around myself. And what if the pursuit of longevity is the mistake? You know, what if I should just fucking hang out with you, man, love you, and party with you, and fucking write songs, and, you know, I don't know. What do you think about that part? That's where I was going. It's like, there's a chance that they could be right. You know,
well, again, you said a lot, you know.
Yeah, sorry, I should have paused.
There's a lot of information. No, there's a lot of information in there in terms of, you know, again, I think the fall of Rome and you know, the gluttony and the debauchery and the lack of, I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
You know, a well-run society that was excelling on all levels, and life was good, fell and was destroyed by the lack of being able to be happy with, you know, having some semblance of order to it all.
But you know that there was a significant portion of that society that was shit on. There were slaves. Women had no rights. If you didn't own land, you were a plebe. Like, I mean, shit was good for some people, not everybody. Mm-hmm.
No, and again, I'm not sure that there's been a time in history that it's been good for everybody. Yeah, you know, I think there's always somebody that's trying to
enslave.
But I think you're talking in this global kind of, you know, again, outside of us earthly concepts, and I look at it from it's about the peace inside of me that is going to be whether or not my life was successful or not. You know, I'm a live in the moment kind of a guy. So me being here with you on this podcast is glorifying God, if you will, or glorifying the universe, or the beauty of life is right here, right now.
Right.
What I did yesterday and what I'm going to do tomorrow really is not the point. You know, if I go to tomorrow and tomorrow is a day where I go, this is not good what I'm doing. Right. Well, that's all it takes. I mean, that's the end all answer is, how do I feel about it? Mm-hmm. You know, and if I'm feeling comfortable and peaceful about the way I'm handling my life, then I think that's the answer. If you know, there's lots of people that I know that have, you know, partied endlessly until that became hard for them or bad for their lives. And I'm not talking about alcoholics or drug addicts. I'm just talking about people who partied a lot and lived life to the fullest, and, you know, continued to be young until they got, you know, too old enough to go, yeah, that's too much for me. You know, I'm not, I don't feel good anymore. I'm not feeling happy or fulfilled anymore. And I think that's, it's the only way life makes sense to me, is the simplicity of being able to say all happiness comes from inside of me. I can fill my life with as much from the outside to try to make my life feel good, you know, but, you know, again, I think there's as many people that are filthy rich that are unhappy as there are people that are poor that are unhappy, and vice versa.
For sure.
There are people with very little who have a certain sense of peace in their lives that they're maintaining, you know. I think it's hard to give it to pinpoint what the answer to that is. I think it is really a personal kind of thing. I don't, you know, religion to me is a very touchy subject as far as knowing how to be able to go. Like, I'm my intellectual fights with my spirit and my faith all the time, and I have a lot of trouble with that, because I can just as easily say, you know, yeah, if there's a God, then I won't be surprised, and I'll be happy as heck when I get to heaven and get to go see St. Peter, as it was at the gate, and you know, and I get there and I
with
go,
your
yeah,
list of questions.
all right, sweet, with my list of questions, exactly, yeah, and it gets longer every day. But if I don't, it's not going to matter. If there's nothing at the end when I die, then I'm not going to know the difference, and it's not going to matter. So being able to find that balance in life where my spirituality means something to me when I'm alive is not so much about whether I'm going to get to heaven. It's whether or not I can live with myself and be happy and peaceful with myself, and I don't create anxiety by the way I behave, and therefore God's alive in me, whether God is real or not. You know, and it's again, the rest of it's way too complicated for me. You know,
I know, that's what I've been thinking. I mean, for me, it's a question I don't have the answer to. I think I'm sounding to our audience like I'm pushing a certain agenda, but I'm only doing it in the devil's advocate way, where I can try.
Well, at this point, we can take calls. Can we take some calls? Yeah.
This is.